Hi, everybody. I'm Kennedy Brady, and you have tuned into Character Building. I am really happy that you joined me tonight because we are going to have an amazing episode. We have an old friend of mine, Broadway icon and Tony nominee, Norm Lewis is with us tonight. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to catch up with him. Oh my God. While you're here with us tonight, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have over 800 subscribers, so we want to get to that 1,000 mark. So everybody pitch in tonight and subscribe. We'd also like to ask you, in lieu of a ticket, for these events, we are asking if you feel compelled to donate to Theatre Raleigh, go to theaterraleigh.com and donate and help us get through this crazy time. Feels like we are working our way back to the end of the tunnel, and maybe we'll be doing live theater very, very soon. But donate to help all live theater and all arts organizations get through this time. So thank you so much for that. And I also want to say thank you to First Citizen, who is our virtual theater experience sponsor. They have helped us throughout all of these broadcasts, not only Living Room Live, but also Character Building. Okay, you guys, Norm Lewis is here with me tonight. I'm so excited. He and I did a little show. I think it's called The Little Show That Could. Back in 1997, it only ran about 100 performances. We were both in the original cast of Sideshow. It was such an amazing experience. And it was not really the first time I got to know who Norm Lewis was because I had already seen him in a Broadway show. But it was certainly my first opportunity to get to work with him, experience his awesomeness and his huge, huge, huge heart. As a matter of fact, some of you might have seen that I posted on Facebook today a video, a bootleg video, and literally just in tears listening to him sing from that show. What an experience. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, my friend and yours, Norm Lewis.
Woo!
Hi, Norm.
Hi, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm good, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm so much happier now that I'm seeing your face.
That's really sweet. Listen, so that was back in 1997. You were 2 years old, and and I don't know what you're drinking, but you look the same. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening here.
Lots of Sauvignon Blanc. No, I'm kidding.
Is that
I feel the same, but
You
we're
look
so much older now. I mean, how
the
many
same.
years has it been?
It's
Like
20 something. I can't count. Wait, let me get my calculator out.
Please don't. I can't count. Never been good at math. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's so funny to revisit some of those videos because we were babies, we were young, and you have continued to do such an incredible things. I mean, that was really at the precipice of what has become such an illustrious career for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, I was grateful to be a part of that cast, and a lot of us have gone on to do some amazing things. Look at you, look at you, look at you.
Well, I mean, I certainly have done quite a 360. You know, not necessarily on stage anymore, but behind the scenes, which I love. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
I love doing what I'm doing. Running this theater is the thing that I was always meant to do, but never really knew it.
Right,
But
right.
watching those videos, it definitely made me a little bit nostalgic of being on stage and having that camaraderie with folks. It was just really cool.
Yeah,
But
and the great thing about that was the fact that you got to go on a lot too, which was really good for us as actors because you had a different perspective, you know, than what Emily Skinner brought to it, and so it made us as actors kind of relate to that very quickly on stage. I love that.
I mean, I sure did go on a lot. That was one of the most amazing standby experiences ever. I think I did 33 out of the 100 performances. It was just like such a gift. And she was the most amazing person to stand by for because she was grateful that it went well when I went on and she could take the rest because it was not an easy thing for those ladies.
It was grueling. Yeah,
it was grueling. And then to get to work with you guys. But I will say when I was watching the video today, I was like, oh, not only was I inspired by Emily Skinner, I was kind of copying her a little bit. But hey, still from the best. That's how you learn.
That's how I do it. That's how I do it.
I doubt that. You are one of a kind, Norm. So I was first aware of you, though, Norm, when I was doing Sunset Boulevard. Before that, with Alice Ripley, who was playing Betty Schaefer when we opened on Broadway. And I remember talking to her and her telling stories about how she would go over to Tommy and go backstage and hang out with you guys that were still there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got to see you do Tommy as well. I couldn't find a picture of you in Tommy.
There's not a lot. There's not a lot because I was part of the ensemble, so they were focused more on the show as a whole and also the lead characters. But so there's not a lot of me. But
and also, by the way, the quality of every video and picture from back then is so bad. It's like this. We're not talking about the 70s. This was really just the 90s, but the quality is so bad.
Yeah, yeah. We've come a long way.
I didn't do the deep dive on Tommy pictures because I was like, I can't. Really, everybody looks like a blur. So, but then, of course, you and I did Sideshow, which I did pull up this little cute, like, playbill photo where there you are.
Oh my God, look at that. Wow.
I mean, look at Hugh Pinero. He decided, no, I'm not going to look at the camera. Forget it. Absolutely not. I'm going to look to the side.
Yeah,
what is that?
Yeah, I think I could start doing that. Yeah.
I think my new headshot is going to be like that.
Or maybe
exactly. It's definitely a selfie headshot. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But you looked like a baby in that, and Emily Skinner, oh my God, baby. And there you guys are. You must have reunited at some point down the line. But
I think that was at Alice's show when she did Next to Normal. I think we all met up there. Yeah.
I
bet
that you it is.
Backstage. Yeah. Yeah.
That definitely looks like her Next to Normal haircut.
Yeah, it does. It does.
You guys look happy and sweet. And then, of course, let's see, there's some pictures I didn't pull, but the people need to know that you've done a ton of Broadway shows, and I'm only going to be giving you a few of them, but you also did Miss Saigon. You were John in Miss Saigon. You also replaced as Billy Flynn in Chicago. You were also in The Wild Party. Hello, I want to hear about Toni Collette. You were in a musical called Amour, and of course you were Javert in Les Miserables. There you are.
That guy.
Looking so stunning. I bet you were incredible. And then, of course, you were King Triton in The Little Mermaid. Hello, abs.
Oh, God, what happened to those? Oh, my God.
Worries.
Where are they?
Was that 50% crunches and 50% shading, or was it all crunches?
It was all crunches. I got in shape for the show.
Good for you.
It's a long journey. I'll try to tell you really quickly.
I want to hear it.
They initially had me in a bodice where it was almost like a corset, and then this was going to be netting, and it was going to have a chest drawn on and everything.
Oh my
gosh. As the time period went on before we started rehearsing, I kind of got in shape. I said, I'm going to be wearing some clothes that's tight, so let me get in shape. And I got in shape, and they were like, would you mind if we took all of that away and you just wore just nothing? And that's how it happened. And,
oh my God, that's incredible. And then were you like, oh, now I've got to just eat chicken breasts and do sit-ups every day?
Absolutely. And I wish I had negotiated having a trainer or something like that before that started happening, but I had already signed the contract. So,
dude, you live, you learn, man.
Truly.
Oh my God, that's incredible. That's such a cool story. And I got to see you as King Triton as well. You were amazing.
Thanks.
Then, of course, you were Tony nominated for the Gershwin's Porgy and Bess.
Right. Yeah.
Which I am sorry to say I did not get to see you in that performance, but boy, I bet you were stunning. I cannot wait to talk to you about that.
Yeah, we had a good time.
That is when we get into dissecting characters. I definitely want to talk to you more about Porgy and Bess because I'm fascinated. Cool. And then you broke down all barriers by being the first African-American Phantom of the Opera. There you are, with the gorgeous Sara Bareilles.
Yes, yeah.
You were the first Black man to play it on Broadway, am I correct?
Yes. Robert Guillaume played it in Los Angeles back in 1990. He replaced Michael Crawford. at the Orpheum. I think that's the name of the theater. And I did it on Broadway. I was very honored by that. I stand on his shoulders. So.
Well, that's a big deal, though, because that kind of representation, I'm sure, has been incredibly affecting for other people of color coming along. So that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, of course, Once on This Island, which is one of my favorite shows ever on the planet Earth. How much fun was it to be in that show?
It was great because I had been in 25 years earlier. I was in the national tour of the original company.
Get
And
out.
so to play it again was awesome. I was like, oh man, and to do a different take on the same story was fantastic. You know, Michael Arden did a fantastic job of directing that show.
Yeah, oh my God, I loved that revival. It was so cool. And then, of course, everybody knows that you are also working in TV and film. Clearly, you're sitting in some hotel room in some city in America,
Yeah.
filming a show that I'm sure you can't tell us about.
Yeah, I'm in Mississippi right now, and I'm filming a TV show for ABC. I can say that.
Amazing. Cool.
And I think it's gonna probably start airing in the fall.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, it's a really amazing show. I don't want to tease too much. It's terrible to do that to someone, but it's going to be a really, really amazing show. Very serious subject, and so I'm excited to be a part of it.
Are you going to get to sing on said show?
No.
No, I know you
No,
have other gifts
unfortunately.
too, but you're robbing the audience, though. You are robbing the audience. We did get to hear you sing in Jesus Christ Superstar when you starred opposite Sara Bareilles. Oh my God, Jelsies.
She
And
was
John
fantastic.
Legend. Oh my
Yes,
God.
they were all fantastic.
I can't even. Like, what was that experience like for you?
It was great because, you know, I never thought I would ever get a chance to do that show. I mean, the only part that I could possibly do maybe once would be Judas. And
You mean
after
as in
that,
like one performance, scream,
one
and then your
performance.
cords would be hanging out the side?
Exactly. But when they came to me and said, you know, can you do, you know, the low part? And I said, let's try and see. Let's see what happens. And we made it. And now I'm known as the guy who's responsible for killing Jesus. So
Yeah, well, it's a cross to bear of a different kind, I guess.
exactly.
As we're heading into the Easter holiday, let's just
Exactly.
keep it very real. That was really stunning. That filming was incredible. The take on it was so exciting. I just imagine being in the room and being a part of that group and getting to have that live audience, having it feel like a concert, yet also so beautifully staged and lit. I just so jealous of that.
Well, it was David Laveau, who was our director, is fantastic because he, you know, has directed on stage and also film, and just to combine those two and knowing that you need the audience to be the crowd that Jesus talks to. It was just the perfect storm. And we had such a great time of putting it all together. And it happened to work out that we were filming it at this beautiful space in Brooklyn. And it was on Easter. And we shot it the day before Easter. So we did a full-on show just to have it videotaped, just in case anything technically wrong would happen. And then we actually did it live for, you know, the network show that everyone saw. Right. But yeah, so we had two shows, and one was a backup, but it was great. It was so fun.
That's nuts. I mean, honestly, all the musical theater people that we've ever known and loved was in that with you. I mean, when I was sitting there watching it from my living room here in North Carolina, I was like, oh, there's. It's like, you know.
Exactly.
Find all the amazing Broadway people. How cool. I mean, incredibly cool.
Absolutely.
And then you got to work with Spike Lee on, yeah. How was that in Da 5 Bloods?
Gosh.
I mean, how do you even begin to explain the fact that, number one, you got to work with Spike Lee, and number two, those incredible actors? I mean, what was that experience like for you?
Well, you know, like you said, those incredible actors, people who I've admired for so long, I got a chance to work with them and just to, you know, embrace we became brothers in that short time frame. And to show that powerful story of these men and their brotherhood and their trials and tribulations to be displayed for the public. It was amazing. And what you saw, the dynamic that you saw on screen, was the dynamic that we experienced as friends off scene, off camera, and working with Jonathan Majors, that young new guy that is just taking over Hollywood right now. He's fantastic. And to work with Chadwick Boseman, before he passed on, and to know that we didn't know, we had no idea that he was sick, because he gave 110% to everything. He didn't look like he was ill.
Yeah.
And it was a tribute to his artistry to know that he gave as much as he did. And
I
so
was
I'm just
wondering if if you knew, or if he let on in any way. That also is just like such a commitment to caring about other people's experiences as well, and not wanting to burden everybody with that. Oh God, that's probably something you will always cherish, getting to work with him. Oh my gosh.
Truly.
Oh, Norm, that
And
is so cool.
Spike Lee was, what I have to say about him is that he's someone who knows what he wants when he wants it and how he wants it. And that was exactly what we felt while we were there. But we also felt comforted in the fact that we could do a lot, because he's an actor as well. He's done some, done some film acting as well. And so he would, in the middle of a scene, he would say, "Don't say that line, say this line." And he would give us something. Or he would say, "What would my character Eddie, what would Eddie say in that moment?" So a lot of those things that you heard were made up, and it was improv.
Wow.
And some of the footage that you saw, the home videos that you saw me with the camera, that's actually me filming. So I told Spike, I said, "Listen, I want a credit for that cinematography."
First of all, you just said the phrase, "I told Spike."
Yeah.
By the way, that's kind of blowing my mind right now. And did you get the credit for cinematography?
Hey, Spike. Yeah. I'm being interviewed right now. Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't bother me. Stop bothering me.
I don't know if you know, it's Lauren Kennedy, so sorry.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. That is so cool, Norm. Oh,
No.
Well, I want to dig in a little bit to your Broadway credits and your Broadway experiences. I know a lot of people who are watching are really interested in the process of how an actor creates characters, how an actor addresses, musicals versus a play, or television and film versus Broadway. And I thought it would be cool to go ahead and just dive into Phantom of the Opera, one of the most iconic shows on the planet. And everybody has like expectations of what it's going to be and how it's going to sound, and everybody's seen it a number of times. Was it something you aspired to do, was to play this role?
Yeah. So when I got the job in Miss Saigon, I did it first in Toronto for 6 months, and then I did it on Broadway for 2 years. And when I was up in Toronto, I got a chance to finally see the show. I'd never seen Phantom. I heard the music, but never seen it. So I finally got a chance to see the show, and I was immediately taken by it. And I said, I have to be in that show. I have to do this show sometime. And I actually would love it. I didn't know if they would ever see me, in that role. I did know that Robert Guillaume had played it before. So I figured maybe if I become a celebrity, maybe there's a chance for me to, get that chance. But it wasn't stunt casting with Robert, because Robert can actually sing. He comes from the musical theater world. Right. So he was fantastic in the role. So it wasn't like just, ooh, let me put some sort of star in that position. Well, I kept coveting it. And 20 years later, it finally came to fruition. People would ask me over those 20 years, what is your dream role? And that I would always say, Bobby and Company or blah, blah, blah. But I would always come back to Phantom. I want to play the Phantom. And after a while, it became more of I want to set a precedent instead of now, like realizing my dream. I want to set a precedent where people can now maybe see someone of color being in these universal type roles. And Hugh Pinero was playing the role, and he called me and he said, "Yeah, I'm not going to renew my contract. Maybe you should tell these people that you're interested in being seen. And that's exactly what happened. And we got in there. I had an audition at the Majestic Theater on the stage in
That's
front
so
of
old
Harold
school.
Prince, God rest his soul, God rest
Yeah.
Harold's soul, and some other creatives. And I went on stage and just sang my heart out and wished the best for myself. And thank God I got it, you know?
Oh my gosh, that is exciting. That is really cool. And I do think, your dream came true in the sense of being able to break some barriers and set a precedent, like you said, because, I think it's such an important part of people growing up, being able to see themselves on stage, being able to see, oh, I can do that, and I think you've offered that inspiration to so many people, not only in Phantom, but in your entire career. I mean, let's be real. But that, I know you certainly got a lot of press about that, and there was a lot of excitement about you in the role, and completely warranted outside of that one fact, because your voice is so majestic. It is so rich and gorgeous that it's almost like I can't almost, now that I've heard you do it, I can't really unhear it because it's so manly and it's so powerful. It's just, oh my God, it's so gorgeous and so sexy. And you got to play opposite Sara Bareilles as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Who has a
It's,
huge history with the
yeah,
show. Who also was
yeah,
your
she's the
daughter in
quintessential. Say what? Say it again.
she was also your daughter in Little Mermaid. Was that
Here's
weird?
my daughter in Little Mermaid, and that's been a really interesting story because we were like, okay, are we father daughter? Are we lovers, or what are we? We're kind of like, this is weird, but
Yeah,
we used that in the show because the Phantom is like her guide,
sure.
and
More Svengali like.
he's like a father figure, and
Yep.
so he talks about her father and missing her father. So we
Yeah.
use that as subtext in
Oh, I
in
love
our
that.
version of the show. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. That is
Yeah.
awesome. Well, tell me about how painstaking it was to put on that makeup every day.
It was interesting. Let's just say that I just know initially Michael Crawford, who was the original Phantom, would take I think 2.5 hours.
All right.
But eventually they got it down over the years, over the 20 something years that before I got in, they got it down to maybe an hour and a half, sometimes even an hour. There was one time I was running late from, I had to do another job during the day and I had to run to the theater and I was running late and we got it on in 20 minutes. That's it. And I was like, well, why can't this happen all the time? But no, it was an hour. It really wasn't too bad. I would even on 2 show days, I would even take it off and then reapply it again
Really?
because it became kind of, funky after a while.
Little 12 hours in that. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, thinking like, oh, was it an Elphaba situation where you're green and you just stay green all day and you can't go out and get yourself some like soup at the Edison Cafe?
No, I would take it off. And now I would stay in. I definitely didn't go out because it was such a grueling experience physically for me because I'm a big guy, and I think that I'm one of the biggest guys that they've ever had. They've had tall people, but I'm pretty broad, and I also was not only the first African American on Broadway, but I think I'm the oldest guy they ever hired. I was 50. I was 51 at the time, and usually people are younger and they grow into the role. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, you know, uh, some people are like maybe in their 30s or 40s and then they get to 50. But I was 51 and hired to do it. So it was a little, rough for an old Norm Lewis to go up and down those stairs and climb ladders and stuff.
You're like,
I
oh
did it,
boy,
but I had fun.
my back. Oh my gosh. Are you telling me that Michael Crawford was not in his 50s when he
I
played that
don't
role?
think so. I think
Yeah,
he was probably in his 40s. I mean, I'll check to be sure, but
those who
I
are
think,
watching, everybody Google it.
yeah, Google that.
I don't know. I just, I also always think about Michael Crawford just because I've known who he is forever. But I
Hmm.
guess, it was, however, 30 years ago when it
Yeah,
opened or more.
it was 1987 or 1988 when it opened on Broadway, and
Mhm.
you know, that was 35
It,
or something years ago. Yeah.
yeah, it sure was. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So again, not good at math, so I won't try to do that.
But you're pretty and you can sing your heart out and you're a good
Well,
businesswoman. So
I'm learning every day, trying to just get better and better. But everybody wants to hear you sing The Phantom of the Opera. So we're going to play a little video of Norm Lewis as the Phantom. Here he is.
Slowly, gently, night unfurls its splendor. Grasp it, sense it, tremulous and tender. Turn your face away from the garish light of day. Turn your thoughts away from cold, unfeeling light, and listen to the music of the night. Let your mind start a journey through this strange new world. Leave all thoughts of the world you knew before. Let your soul take you where you long to be. Only then can you belong to me.
Ooh, come on.
we had so many takes of that. So I was like, oh God, did I sound okay? I can't remember.
Norm Lewis, this is your life. Did you film that specifically for something that I just grabbed off the interweb?
They were promoting the show at the time. This is back in 2014. So they were trying to find, marketing content that they could use. And so they filmed this one day on stage. They had a special rehearsal for us.
It was
And we
stunning.
had to get all
I
in
mean, it was
makeup and
beautifully
stuff. Yeah.
done. Way
Thank
better
you.
than like the bootleg I was watching from Sideshow today.
Thank God for
Oh
those
my gosh,
bootlegs, right?
gorgeous. Norm, I mean, your voice is spectacular. I mean,
Oh, you
I've
too.
always thought that, and you have really held on to it all these years. Congrats.
You're very sweet. I love you for that. But if you remember, there's also a bootleg of Sideshow out there where my voice was not so good. And
I
remember the night that I went to hold the note and I just couldn't? And I was like, you should be loved in the way I love you. Violet. Violet.
you were giving me a
And
Stella moment.
there's a bootleg tape of that night.
There is? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. No, I kind of remember you talking about it or, but I actually probably wasn't there that night. I was on a beeper during those days,
That's true.
being
That's
all
true. You were a beeper.
standby-ish.
That's right.
If I wasn't on, I was at home
Yeah.
just waiting to be beeped.
Yeah. Luxuriating.
Well, I mean, just the whole idea of being on a beeper was just so ridiculous. Like we
know.
were a doctor or something that just beep, beep, beep. And the first time I got the call to go on, actually it was during previews and she didn't end up going out, but I got a beep and I was at dinner. And I got a beep on my beeper and I had to go outside and call on the payphone to the stage manager's office. That's how
Kids,
long ago it was.
let this be a lesson to you. We didn't have, I don't think some cell phones were out, but very few of us had them back then.
Very few, yeah.
Yeah. So we had a beeper and we had to go to a payphone and do that.
Payphone. I put in a quarter and I
Put a
picked
quarter
it up.
in.
I dialed the number on the street corner of New York City. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. Ew.
It was like the rush. But anyway, you're stunning in Phantom of the Opera, and I'm sorry to get to see it. And maybe you'll come back as, I don't know.
I would do it again. You know what? It's one of those shows where, I'm hidden by makeup, so I can be old and crotchety still, and I can still do it. But
Totally.
I would do it. It's one of those shows that I actually love. I've repeated Sweeney Todd 3 times.
Oh.
And so it's one of those shows that you just kind of like you can't get enough of it. And if you can still do it, do it.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Well, maybe one day, ladies and gentlemen, you'll get to see him as the Phantom. Let's talk about the Gershwins' Porgy and Bess as well, where you were nominated for a Tony finally. I felt you deserved it for a number of other things before then, but thank goodness you were recognized.
You're very kind. Again, I'll pay you later. I want to make sure that Kennedy, correct? Is that how you, okay.
Yeah, you know. You can look me up, get the correct spelling.
You know, the Porgy and Bess thing, it was one of those things that I never actually, that was something I never really dreamt of doing, because I always thought it would be on the operatic stage. And the only role that I thought I would be even considered for would be Sport and Life, because they usually hire a musical theater guy for that.
Because he's more of a showman, right?
He's more of a showman and stuff. And then when they came to me and said, we want to have you as Porgy opposite, what's her name?
Audra McDonald. To slip your mind.
Is that her name? Audra? Is it McDonald?
Not many people have heard of her, you know.
I always forget. Yeah. One hit wonder. But no, it was awesome to be with her and to be with that cast and Diane Paulus. And, we just had such a great time. And, there's so many stories about that show. I don't even know where to begin, but I had a really fantastic time.
I mean, I have so many questions about just like when you were creating this character too of Porgy, especially if you hadn't really thought of yourself as playing this role, when it came about, I guess I kind of want to know, how did it come about? Was it your traditional audition and you got the role and that's that? But then once you got the role, how did you create this man who has a disability? And, what was it? What was your take? Did you read the source material? Did you go to the play, the book? What'd you do?
Well, I had been in the opera years ago in Orlando, where I grew up. I did I was one of the chorus members for the entire, it's like 3.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
So I knew the music and I've always loved it. So I knew the story. So I drew from that. I also went back to the book that was Haywood, and then his wife secretly turned it into a play without him knowing about it. And then that's where the two Gershwin brothers saw the show and decided to make it into an opera. So it had many different metamorphoses.
Right.
And so I went back to that material. There is actually a Porgy that this is based on, Porgy Smalls, that lived. He was a man who was disabled. Now, he was on a cart being drugged by a goat. We decided to bring him up on his feet and have him on a crutch or he can get around a little bit better. And it just was one of those things that we just kind of discovered it as we went. Diane Paulus had been teaching it at ART in Cambridge and Harvard, and decided that she would bring that material as well. But the Gershwins also gave us a lot of material and a lot of history, and we just pulled from that. If anyone is, they know about the opera, they know there's a lot of recitative in an opera. So you can start drinking, you can start talking about a glass of water and say, this water is great, it's cool, it'll satisfy your throat and blah, 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 instead of just picking it up and just drinking it. So we cut out 15 minutes of someone thinking about water and just condensed it and tried to make it into a 2.5-hour musical theater performance. And that's what we did. Susan Laurie Parks.
Also, yes, exactly. That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah. Susan Laurie Parks, just basically took the recitative and made it into dialogue. And then we did we definitely kept the greatest hits, Best You Is My Woman Now, Summertime, I Got Plenty of Nothing. We definitely kept those. But a lot of the stuff in the opera is just repeated a lot. And so we just, wanted to condense it down.
And did you condense down as well, like the orchestra and the cast size? I mean, how did you make it from an opera to a musical? What else was involved with that?
Pretty much, yeah, because, obviously you can't have a 100-piece orchestra, in a theater, but
I don't understand. What, that's not affordable?
And to also, we had to change some of the keys that way because, singing opera is so hard and like so hard on your voice.
Mhm.
And we changed some of the keys and we fit me into that position, fit Audra into that position so we could match each other and do
Right.
the show 8 times a week. But yeah, I think it was about 15 or 17 pieces. Some people doubled up on their, one guy who was playing the piano also had to play an organ and also had to play
The
what do you call that?
accordion.
Squeeze box thing. Yeah, thank you. The accordion, all at the same
Squeeze
time.
box, same thing.
Like
Mhm.
the squeeze box.
Wow,
But
that
yeah,
is
it was
wild.
it was very powerful. It was a powerful show, and the Gershwins gave us their blessing.
That's great. I love that. And it must have been so cool to work with Susan Laurie Parks
Yeah,
and have that voice a part of the process. It's
absolutely.
really so dynamic and cool. And I loved what, even though I didn't get to see the production itself, what I've been able to see and all the photographs and the
Mhm.
snippets and the videos is, you and Audra had such incredible chemistry and had this beautiful, like, sexy and full relationship. It just must have been on fire to watch it in person.
Well, it was brilliant because of the fact that like watching Audra actually was amazing for me as an actor and a colleague because we going back to the source material, Bess actually has a scar that they describe on her face because she's been beaten so much. So every night she would get a scar put on her face so that way, she could feel more like Bess.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of times in the opera, you don't see that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just to see her fight against taking what they call the happy dust, which is cocaine, to see her fight every night not to do it because she's trying to better herself for Porgy. And I'm trying to better myself for her.
Oh, it's
So
so complex.
yeah, it was so beautiful to do that every night.
Oh my gosh, I bet. Well, I'm sure the audience wants to see a little bit of you guys doing Porgy and Bess. So let's watch a little video of Audra McDonald and Norm Lewis in the Gershwins' Porgy and Bess.
I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got my gal, I got my song, got him the whole day long. No use complaining, got my gal, got my Lord, got my song. From this minute I'm telling you, I keep this bond on my way. Please hide me. Now is one. How long still, woman? You wanna stay with me? Stay. You got a home now, honey. Got love. Don't know why. Can't you understand? You're gonna go about your business singing. 'Cause you got Porgy. You got your man. But you'll be there to hold
Absolutely ridiculous. Just Norm Lewis and that
Yeah.
voice.
Oh, you're too kind. Listen, that Audra person, she's okay.
She'll
She's
do
okay.
fine. I
I
think
think she'll do
fine.
fine. I don't know where she is these days, but she'll do fine.
Oh my God. Watching her sing is like an out of body experience because the joy that she has when she sings. I've done a couple concerts with her where I'm just like, it's almost like she elevates. There's so much beauty and life and joy in her. It's like, it's her life's blood to sing. It's so
Yes.
amazing to watch in person.
Yeah.
How much did that affect you or just her as an actress? I mean, your relationship, how much did that affect your performance?
Well, we were friends. We've been friends for so
Sure.
long. We've only done one other thing together, and that was a concert of Dreamgirls back in 2001. And we actually we're on an album for that. It's celebrating the 20th anniversary of Dreamgirls. But we never got a chance to do a production together. And so this was like, for me, it was fantastic. And again, watching her gave me so much energy because she wants you to like give her, and she wants to give you. And
That's so
it's
cool.
playing a game, but not trying to outdo each other. But it's like, okay, I got the ball now, you get the ball now. You know, because we're trying to make sure the audience can feel what we're feeling.
Yeah.
And the bar is up here, and
That's so
I'm
cool.
like, Norm, you better
I don't believe it.
you better get up there with her.
I've been on stage with you. You set that bar real high. So here's a question I have for you. And this is really more for me than anybody, because as an actress, as I've gone through my career, I have 100% always had sort of a moment in the rehearsal room or in tech where I completely doubt myself and I completely think, oh, I'm going to be fired at any minute. I'm letting everybody down. Did you ever feel that in these performances or these roles that you were creating?
Absolutely, every day, every time I get on stage, it's one of those things where I feel like people are going to go, "Oh, he's a fraud," oh,
Totally.
and like, "Oh God, I could have played that part better." But then you just kind of you go with what God gave you, because that is the number one thing. Whatever source you believe in, the universe, rocks, whatever you believe in.
Yes.
And for me, it is God. And it's like, this is a gift. And it can be taken, was given. So you got to honor it. And I try to honor it every night. I remember, there were times, and this is for all the young, even people who are more mature, when you're doing stuff on stage and you do 8 times a week, the audience doesn't care what you did that day, if you had a bad day or not. They paid $150, $200 to see a show. So for some reason, that sparks something in me. I could have the worst headache in the world, but as soon as I walk on that stage, that headache is gone.
Yeah.
And I have to kind of give my all. And I want to take people on a journey. It is my responsibility as an actor, an artist, to guide them. There are times that you're, vocally challenged or whatever, but you work around that. There have been times where I've had some serious vocal problems, but I didn't try to sing as hard, but still have intensity in my acting or, something like that.
Right.
So you figure things out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like playing hurt. That's doing a Broadway show is like being in the NFL, or, you always have an injury. There's always something, and you've got to, the professionals work around it, right?
Exactly.
Well, so we do have 3 aspiring artists who I know want to ask you some questions. And it's part of what I love about doing this show is inspiring the next generation of Norm Lewis's. And, so I'm going to bring out our first.
I have this for the show, guys. This is for the TV show. Sorry. So
Your
weird.
little Magnum PI mustache is very
Totally.
dashing. First, we have an aspiring actor named Kevin Lacey. Kevin goes to Elon. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are y'all?
We are so good. Obviously, this is Norm.
Hi.
Kevin, why
Hello,
don't
this
you
is
start us
wild.
just tell us a little bit about yourself and then ask Norm your question.
Yeah, I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but now I live in Northern Virginia with my folks. I go to Elon. I'm a senior, which is wild. I am currently, thank you. I'm currently in a show. I'm currently in something like I've never done before. I'm in Macbeth as Banquo. And so that kind of leads me, if it's cool, to segue into my
I love a
question.
segue.
We love a segue. Yeah. So as someone who has crossed multiple mediums and, been on TV and done film and done some classical theater, do you find that your approach to character and your process in general changes depending on the medium? And like, if it does, what are some of like the main differences? Like TV, this is like my process to how I approach a character and how it differs from, say, like something like Shakespeare or yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank
That's a
you.
great question. I would say that for me, what I've learned, because I thought that you had to have a different approach for each thing. It's the same process. It really is. You're trying to find the truth in each character, trying to find the subtext of what their intention is. And so you just dive deep into whatever the material is. Sometimes you go a little deeper and go into that period and go, what were the colloquialisms of that time? Or, what were people thinking at that time? As far as skin color or as far as being, anything about your race, forget that. That's already a given. So just forget that, and just do the work, and people will see past that. But when you do okay, so theater, you're kind of a little bit bigger, and you're trying to hit the back of the stage, and the back of the theater, and making sure people can hear you and all that stuff. When it's television, I remember one of my first TV gigs. I was directed by. You ever seen the Rocky series? You ever seen Apollo Creed and
Yeah.
all of that? Sylvester Stallone, the guy who played Apollo Creed in the first and second Rocky, was my director for this TV show, and I was giving a speech about my wife who had postpartum depression and left our baby in the car, and so she was arrested and also taken to the hospital and blah blah blah. And I'm trying to give a dramatic thing, and he was like, "Cut, cut, cut," and he said, "Come here." He said, "You do a lot of theater, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "You don't have to talk as loud. Your voice is already booming. Don't talk so loud." So he said, "Just have that dramatic moment by just speaking like this and just making sure you look into the camera and have the intention." And that was the only thing. And I felt like I wasn't doing anything. But once I saw it, I was like, oh, I get what he's saying. So that's basically kind of the only difference. There are even times, though, when you're on television, you have to be big. I was doing a couple of soap operas, and they were overly dramatic. What do you mean that's my child? That's not my child. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, but you approach it from the beginning the same. You just try to find the truth in what that character is, and then you grow from there or pull back from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was perfect.
That's also good to know that you got guidance from directors. Sometimes I feel like we hear about TV actors or film actors is that you're really not directed. Your performances aren't always directed. So that's good to hear that you've had the experience that you do.
I think I was blessed, truly blessed. But Kevin, congrats and getting the roles you're getting, and all the best of luck, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for being with us
Nice
tonight.
to meet you.
Yeah, have a great night, y'all.
Okay. And next we have a gal that I have worked with a number of times. She's super talented. She's also on her way to a Broadway career. This is Callie Colvard. Hi, Callie.
Hi.
Kelly.
Welcome.
Oh
Callie was in the production of Bridges of Madison County that I directed in 2019. She's very special. So I'm excited for you to meet. Callie, you can tell us a little bit more about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm a senior in high school currently, and I've been auditioning for college programs for BFA musical theater. So that's kind of just where I'm at right now mentally. But you know what? It's okay because we're going to get there. There's always another road. But I'm super excited to be here tonight. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Tell us before you ask your question, have you honed in on a school yet?
Not yet. Still kind of deciding what the factors are that I'm really looking for in college and what I really need to be supported in a program. But I'll definitely let you know as soon as I figure it out.
Keep me posted. Okay. This is about Norm now.
All right. First of all, hi. Oh my gosh. I am in awe right now. Hello. The question I have for you tonight is I wanted to ask you what the biggest challenge you have faced thus far on your journey to where you are now.
Wow. It's just, that's a great question. I would say making sure that I'm prepared enough and making sure that, my biggest challenge is dance. In the beginning, when I first started out, I would blow them away with the singing. I was like, oh yeah, I got a callback, yeah. And then they would say, can you come back and dance? And I go, oh, sure. And I'm a mover. I'm not a dancer. I don't know any technical terms, tombe, pas de bourrée. I call it Tom Collins and something else. I don't know what I called it, but I could fake my way through some of that stuff. So whatever you're weakest in, try to do the most in training for it. If you understand what I'm saying. So that has been my biggest challenge. But also try to learn if you can. I don't know what you're young, so your memory probably is a lot better than mine, but try to learn how to memorize quickly because that will only help you. Do you play an instrument?
I play piano and guitar.
Good.
Yes.
Good. That was going to say, if you don't learn, I don't play piano. I don't even know how to read music. When I see that when someone says, well, what note is it? I have to go F, A, C. That's a C. Like, that's how I have to do it. And I've, again, faked my way through a lot of this. But it's been a challenge. Made it through. But if I had known music, it would have been a lot easier. So.
That is great advice. Oh my God. So now we don't have to just be triple threats. We have to be quadruple threats, right?
Triple threat. Well, what's interesting too, and especially, and as you know, because in the beginning, when we were, you came after I did, but in the beginning, there were singers, there were dancers, and then there were the actors. And, these shows like Les Miserables and Miss Saigon, Phantom of the Opera, those were concentrating more on the singing styles. But, then you had the Fosse's and all that kind of stuff. And those were the dancers. And then some people could sing a little bit. But now everybody from they know how to dance. You got to stand out somehow. Like everybody's good. Everybody's good now. Instead of just being good in one thing, everybody's good at everything. So what is it that can make you that much more special? So that's what you need to do. Look for that.
That is so true. That is great advice.
Thank you so much.
Callie, I know that you're going to do really, really well, especially because your heart is so in it. And I know you see no other path for yourself except that. And that's a big part of it.
Truly.
So good luck with everything. And I
Thank
also
you.
going to see you soon. You're going to be in one of our shows this summer. So I look forward to that.
Yes.
So keep me posted on the college thing. And,
I will.
Keep watching because I'm sure we'll be talking more and more fun things with Norm.
Thank you so much, Norm.
Okay, so Callie, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
She is very talented. It's so interesting, Norm, that you were revealing about how you didn't read music. Because I think we actually talked about this back in 1997 because I don't read music and Henry Krieger doesn't read music and he would play by ear and he would write by ear and he was always like, sing with your soul, and I felt like, oh, I found my home because I don't know how to read music. I just have a good ear. Like I can pretend like I do, but it's just because I pick it up pretty fast. But man,
Yeah, it's definitely been a big, that's been a hurdle. That's been a challenge. But, we also had those old fashioned tape recorders. You go, okay, what? Oh, okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Yep. That is so funny. But I do agree with you. That was great advice you gave Callie, because if my parents had made me stay, in piano lessons, or I had gotten up at 8 a.m. when I was at Cincinnati Conservatory of Music to actually go to music theory, and I might have really set myself up in a better way. See, like education is wasted on the young. Like now I'm like thirsty for it. It's too late.
Right. Truly.
Anyway, all right, our last participant, his name is Zion Middleton. He also is a student at Elon. Zion, welcome. We're so happy to have you. Zion takes voice with a very good friend of mine, Dan Calloway.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, like Lauren just said, my name is Zion. I'm extremely excited to be here. This is crazy. Like, Norm, you are actually like my hero. I wrote my papers about you in high school, so it's just really cool to just like be here and ask you these questions.
That's awesome,
One,
man. Awesome.
yeah. But I'm a sophomore music theater major at Elon University. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I know Kevin's from Atlanta too. But I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. And yeah, I'll just get right into my question. So it's, as an African American, like male identifying actor in our industry, for me, you've really changed the game doing roles like Phantom and Javert and Sweeney and things like that are typically, I guess, seen as they're usually played by white actors. So can you talk about your journey and your challenges doing some of those roles that I guess you didn't see a lot of people who look like you doing before then?
Okay, what was that last part? You kind of broke up. I don't know, something happened with my internet, I think.
Oh, I'm just saying, could you talk about some of the challenges you might have experienced while taking on roles that before you were usually typically played by white actors, and just kind of talk about that journey?
You know, what's interesting, I didn't really have a lot of challenges because of what I did, because I came into the business, what I say, ass backwards, because I didn't study theater at all. I studied business in college. And so I fell into the business late in my life. I was 27 when I moved to New York to pursue this career. And then finally around age 30, I started getting Broadway shows. I did regional theater up until then. But so I did not let anything stop me unless they specifically asked for blonde hair, blue eyes, or boobs. I showed up. I showed up. And that's the number one secret. Show up. Be prepared. Be able to do all styles of music. I mean, right now, everybody can do everything. Like I was saying before, they can, back in the day, people would play around backstage and start riffing Les Mis or riffing, Phantom of the Opera. But now everybody can riff. Now everybody can sing gospel. Now everybody can sing legit. Now everybody can sing, whatever. People can dance jazz, or they can do ballet and stuff. So just be prepared. That's number one. But, actually go back. The passion to do it, that's number one. Then be prepared. That's number two. But just show up. I remember I went into an audition one time for Chorus Line. Now, I know I can't dance. I told you that. I can't dance. Don't know a tombe from, Japé. But
I don't know if a tombe is a thing. I think you made that word up.
No, tombe that is a term.
It is?
But yeah, tombe, pas de bourrée, yeah. Tombe.
Okay. I just keep thinking tendu, I don't know, or fondue. I don't know. Getting kind of hungry over here.
Lauren, catch up with us, people who can dance. Come on. But I just remember I went for Chorus Line. I sang my little 16 bars because they only gave you 16 bars to audition. And they said, hold on a minute, young man. And they talked amongst themselves and said, how would you like to play Richie in Chorus Line? And I said, well, do you want me to come back and dance? They were like, no, you were the only black guy that showed up. Now, Richie is the one who can dance. He's like an amazing dancer, but they didn't care because they just wanted a black guy. So it's things like that. Of course, there were other variables, and you're going to have to fight some things. And in fact, I'm working with an organization, and we can get into that later, called Black Theater United, to try to fight diversity and racism within our industry. But fight past that. Just go past it. Show up, show what you got, and then if you don't answer that problem, that solve their problem or get hired for that, just keep going to each audition. Just show up. Just be prepared. Show up. And don't you say no to yourself. I've had a lot of my friends say, I'm not going to go because they're not going to hire me anyway. Don't do that. Show up and let them say no, and keep going until they say no.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck at Elon.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Zion. It was really nice to meet you, and good luck, and I'll see you soon, I hope. hopefully at an audition at Theatre Raleigh. That's really smart, Norm, to just show up, just keep going.
Yeah.
And also letting someone say no to you
Yeah.
is so great, because I think we have a lot of pride and a lot of fear of rejection in this business. And so a lot of times people might just be like, oh, they're not going to pick me, so I'm not going to do it.
Right.
It's such a great words of wisdom to hear, like, you know what? Let people say no to you and don't get upset about it. Just move on to the next one.
I mean, Sara Bareilles always has this saying that she uses called, "You are enough, you are so enough. It's incredible how enough you are." And so I just remember one of the greatest advice that I was given before I moved to New York was from someone who I worked on a cruise ship, and he encouraged me to move to New York. And I was asking him about people who had gone to these special schools and competing against them when I auditioned. He said, the only thing you have to think about is when you go into that room, behind the desk, the producer, the director, the creatives all have a problem. And what you're doing is saying, hey, I'm your answer. And that's all you have to do. You might not solve their problem that day. They might remember you for something else, or you might not just solve their problem. So don't worry about them anymore. Go solve someone else's problem. Go solve someone else's problem. Go solve some. It's, it's your job to show up and do the job.
Yeah, and like what you were telling Callie about being prepared and learning how to memorize too, the more you get that muscle down, the more resilience you have to just keep showing up and showing up and showing up. Otherwise, it feels like so much work.
Yeah.
And I always give people advice of like, well, auditioning's the job, preparing, auditioning, that's what when you finally get a job, that is the reward, and you'll get paid for it then. But the work is what leads up to it, right? Boom. You and me, baby. We got this. We got this. Well, I'm so happy that you got to speak to them, because I know that that was really important and inspiring. And I'm inspired by you. I always have been. You have such a lightness, a spirit and a joy, and such a hard worker. It's just always been a joy to know you and watch you just like flourish. As we round up this evening, because we're almost done. No. I know, let's keep talking.
Yeah.
But I want to do a total James Lipton Inside the Actor Studio vibe, where I'm going to ask you 10 questions. It's kind of like a game. 10 questions, and you have 10 seconds to answer each question, and you can only use 10 words or less.
Okay.
So it's really just rapid fire, like whatever comes out, don't think too much about it. It's really to be fun, and the sillier things you say, the better.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. I know, right? What accomplishment on stage are you most proud of?
Oh, all of them.
You're going to say that for every answer, aren't you? What accomplishment off stage are you most proud of?
Oh, representing, it's 10 words or less. Sorry.
That's okay.
When I did Phantom of the Opera, people from India, from China, from Brazil, from all over said now that they can see themselves on that stage because of me. So I'm proud of them. Yeah.
That is very, very exciting. I'm glad you said that. What's one of your fondest memories of your childhood?
Getting a new bike, being one of the first people to have like this amazing bicycle for Christmas. That was awesome.
I love it. If you could bring one famous person back from the dead, who would it be?
God, I mean, definitely Martin Luther King. Come on. He was just the smartest, most giving, kindest. Come on. Yeah.
The second part of that question is, and why, but I don't need to, we know why.
Yeah.
Assume you have a tombstone. What would you like to have engraved on it?
He left his heart.
Aw, you did. Aside from the basic necessities, what do you need every day to be happy?
Oh God! Besides the basic necessities, what do I need to be happy?
Not a toothbrush.
No, God, no. I can use toilet paper. I've done that before. with toothpaste and toilet paper. Anyway,
100%.
I would just say I wake up every morning, and before I do anything, I always say thank you. Those are the 2 words that I use. So as soon as
gratitude.
I
love it. Okay, what positive adjectives would your friends and family use to describe you? Just give me a couple.
Oh, funny, nice, goofy.
I concur. All right, what negative adjectives would your friends and family use to describe you?
A little lazy. It needs to be on time. And
amazing. Okay.
yeah, those two. I'll just say those two. Yeah,
we'll just leave it right there.
We'll leave it right there.
If you could live your life over again, what would you do differently?
Oh, I would run a major company. I really wanted to be. So I wanted to get my MBA and my law degree and work in finance.
Oh my
I wanted to
gosh.
actually run and be a CEO of a company.
Will you come help me do spreadsheets here at Theatre Raleigh, please?
Done.
When you started that sentence, I thought you were going to say, I would have run a marathon. I don't know why I went there. Okay. Last but not least, this is the most important of all questions, Norm.
Yes.
There are 2 kind of people in this world.
Yes.
There are Les Mis people, and there are Phantom of the Opera people. What are you?
I think
It's
I'm
tricky
more.
because you've done both, but you have
I
to
know.
choose. You have to choose.
I think I'm more Les Mis. I think there's more. There's more of there's a spirituality that is more universal in that show that I think than any other show out there. So
It
Les
is
Mis.
so true. You are one of my people. You are
Yes.
part of me, Norm. And
Yeah.
with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you a quick little video of Norm Lewis as Javert.
Though song, at last we see each other plain. Monsieur the Mayor, you wear a different chain. Before you say another word, Javert, before you chain me up like a slave again, listen to me, there is something I must do. This woman leaves behind a suffering child. There is none but me who can intercede. In mercy's name, 3 days, all I need. Then I'll return, I pledge my word. Then I'll return. You must think me mad. I've hunted you across the years. Men like you can never change a man such as you. Believe like me, what you will never change. Men like you can never change. No, nothing to of my life. So all I did was steal my duties to the law. You have no right. Come with me to the sea. So one. Now no before has turned around. Just Jean Valjean is nothing now. Dare you talk to me of why? I'm the price you had to pay. Every man is born in sin. Every man must choose his way. You know nothing, you Javert. I was born inside a jail. If I have to kill you here, I am from the gutter too.
Oh, yes. I mean, from the gutter too. Oh my gosh,
Did you see
Norm,
that little spill that came out when I said Javert?
literally my husband just said it. He got a little spit in there too. And that's when you know you're articulating and you're mad. Oh, you're so mad at him. How mind-blowing was that to do that huge concert?
It was awesome. We did it at the O2 Arena in London, and it was 20,000 people. And we did 2 shows that day. We did a matinee and an evening. Yeah. And it was phenomenal. I mean, I couldn't see the back of the house, so it was just a sea of people. And so it was nerve-wracking, but yet so exciting.
Oh my God!
20,000. So 40,000 people, basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And Nick Jonas is married.
It was super amazing. Yes, Nick. What a nice guy. He's a really, really nice guy.
I always like to tell people he played Gavroche when I was Fantine on Broadway. He was my Gavroche.
That's right. I forgot about that. That's right.
That's cool to see him full circle. You are a stunner. You are incredible. I'm just tickled pink and just feel so honored that you said that you would come and chat with me on this show. I know a lot of people were so excited to hear that Norm Lewis was going to be on Character Building. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, taking your day off while you're filming to be with us.
No, listen, it's my honor. I mean, you've always been one of my favorite people, and you and your young one, and she's how old is she now?
My daughter is going to be 17 next week. I know. I cannot. It doesn't make any sense.
All right. I had a moment just then. Anyway, but the thing is, I mean, I know you've been giving me a lot of accolades. I'm very proud of you, because of your history in this industry, but then going back home and giving back. This is awesome. And then to allow people to come into your home almost with this new platform. And we've had to figure a lot of things out, and this was great. And your husband, it seems like a really cool guy.
He is very cool.
I think he likes me. I don't know. We'll see.
I think you guys have had a very good rapport here tonight,
Exactly.
off camera. No, it is very gratifying what we've been able to do and build here at Theatre Raleigh. And I really said it earlier, but it's so true. I feel like I was born to be a producer of theater in a region, a smaller market than New York, because there is a lot of freedom, and we can build things from the ground up, and we can use local talent, and we can also bring people from New York to inspire said local talent. And it's just a really magical mix. And so I feel like we did a little bit of that tonight as well, with you getting to speak to these young artists who are hoping to be the next Norm Lewis. So it's all really about
networking. And what is the website again that people can donate? What's the
TheatreRaleigh.com.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I couldn't hear it.
Well, I don't know if you heard it, but for those of you in the back, TheatreRaleigh.com, donate,
and they can
please.
give anything that they want, right? They can give as much as they want, or as little, or a lot.
We'll take $1. We'll take $100,000.
Can I give you a little idea that I think I'm going to work on, and people
Please.
can work on around the country, wherever they are. You know how people have jars of pennies or change, and they don't know what to do with it, especially pennies.
Yeah.
Bring them. Have a day where you can have like pennies from heaven day, or penny for your thoughts, and just have them. And then have a day where people will roll them up, and then you take that to the bank. Every little bit counts.
Norm, that is genius. You are going to be seeing on social media that we're absolutely going to be doing that initiative.
Oh my God. And give me the credit for that.
I will absolutely give you credit. I'll even give you
Oh my God.
But pennies from heaven, penny for your thoughts. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. Because don't go to Coinstar. Bring it to your local arts organization. That's amazing.
I'm going to start something like that, in New York with some organizations. So yeah.
Okay, well, I will totally keep you posted on that. Maybe I can have you help me do a little video so we can promote it. Anyway, that's so cute. I love that. I'm super grateful. I want to let you go now so you can get on and have your night off. But thank you so much. I'm so happy to have been able to catch up with you and see your gorgeous face and get to hear those videos of you singing again. It just warms my heart. You have definitely lifted my spirits today, Norm.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Ladies and gentlemen, Norm Lewis, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys, next week too, we have Betty Buckley is going to be our next guest on not Living Room Live, Character Building. She won a Tony for Cats, of course, and she was Grammy and Emmy nominated. She is an incredible human being, and she is going to be with us April 18th. Oh my God, Lauren. April 18th. So join us then. Okay, that's our show. Thank you, Norm. Thank you, Zion. Thank you, Callie. And thank you, Kevin. And thank you, Charlie. We look forward to seeing you next time on Character Building. I hope everybody is wearing their masks and you're getting vaccinated if you are eligible, so we can all be in a theater gathering together very, very soon. Good night, everybody.